For this episode of Monster of the Month, we're heading to Ravnica. Welcome to the Blue Dragon Guild, a channel all about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Baron, and today we're taking a look at the Simic Hybrid. This monster was added with the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, and I think it's a really fun monster. To me, a lot of stuff in the Ravnica book kind of just gets underutilized, at least by our group, and especially by veteran DMs who don't really want to mess with like a whole new world, especially if they've had their own world set in stone for a long time, or they've just been using the Forgotten Realms setting. But there is so much great information in this book, and I'm definitely never gonna overlook it again. Jumping right into it, the Simic Guild is basically kind of like the mad scientists of Ravnica. They're basically trying to like morph nature and humanity into like this perfect kind of being so they can survive. The hybrids in particular were made to defend the guild in times of crisis. Taking a quick look at their stat block, there are 5 different hybrids in this book. You can find them on page 217. We have the Hybrid Brute, the Hybrid Flyer, Hybrid Poisoner, Hybrid Shocker, and the Hybrid Spy. These range from half a CR all the way up to 2 CR, so they're not quite the strongest creatures, but with their little abilities, if you throw them against a low-level party, I think it'll be a good challenge for them. One thing to note, they are all medium humanoids, and their alignment is technically neutral good, but as I always say, it's your game, you can run them however you want. The Hybrid Brute has an AC of 18, it gets a multi-attack with claws, and it has amphibious, so it can breathe both air and water. So you could put it in an aquatic situation and still have fun with it. Next we have the Hybrid Flyer. It has an AC of 13. It gets a multi-attack. It can either make 2 javelin attacks, or it can make a javelin attack and a spit acid. Their spit acid is a ranged weapon attack, and it deals 4d4 acid damage on a hit, which is pretty good, I think. They're a CR2. I feel like that's pretty decent damage output at the level that your characters should be encountering them. It might kill them outright, depending on how low their health is if you throw it at them too early. Next we have the Hybrid Poisoner. It has an AC of 14. It has the ability Assassinate. During its first turn, the Poisoner has advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn, just like the Assassin Rogue's ability. Any hit that the Poisoner scores against a creature affected by the surprise condition is automatically a critical hit. They also have Poisonous Skin. Any creature that touches the hybrid or hits it with a melee attack while within 5 feet of it takes 1d6 poison damage. So it's kind of like, if you think back to the episode about the trolls that Chris and I did, it's kind of like the Venom Troll. You hit it and it sprays acid on you. So that's a fun little, I guess, hidden ability that you can sneak in there that most parties aren't going to expect. For their attack, they get Toxic Touch. It's a 2d6 bludgeoning damage, and the target must succeed on a DC Constitution save or become poisoned for 1 minute. And then on each subsequent turn of the poisoned creature, they have to redo the save, and if they fail, they take a d6 of poison damage. Next up we have the Hybrid Shocker, and yeah, it's exactly what you're thinking. It deals some lightning damage. They have an Electrified Body. Any creature that touches the hybrid or hits it with a melee attack while within 5 feet takes 1d10 lightning damage. So similar to the Poisoner, instead of poison, they're dealing lightning damage from their body whenever they get hit. And one kind of cool thing is the hybrid sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius and then dim for another 10 foot. That's their illumination ability. They have multi-attack, and they also get Shocking Touch, which is a melee weapon attack. On a hit, it deals 2d8 lightning. They also have a Tentacle Attack. On a hit, the target is grappled, and the hybrid pulls the target up to 15 feet straight toward it. Until this grapple ends, the creature takes 1d10 lightning damage at the start of each of its turns. But while the Shocker has someone grappled, they can't use the tentacle attack on anybody else. And the last hybrid that we're taking a look at is the Hybrid Spy. They're the ones that are going to be tailing the party, sneaking around, staying hidden, staying in the shadows, gathering intel on the party. They get chameleon skin. The hybrid has advantage on stealth checks made to hide, and they also get spider climb. The hybrid can climb difficult surfaces, including upside down on ceilings, and they need to make no ability check for this. And then they get a multi-attack, and their weapon is a short sword. So that's the stat block of the Simic hybrids. I really like the Simic hybrids. I was flipping through the book, and they caught my eye just because there's so many of them, and they're each specialized to do a certain thing. So using them in a game, obviously in Ravnica, they're going to be pretty easy to place. They're with the Simic Guild, or maybe they've gone rogue and they've left the guild and the guild's hired you to hunt them down. Outside of Ravnica, however, I'd use them as an experiment, but from some mad wizard, and they can either be running rampant through the countryside, or the idea I had was they would be kind of like the wizard's bodyguards. In my mind, I pictured there's this tower. Each tower level has a Simic hybrid in there, and you have to defeat him before you can go to the next level. And then finally, you get to the wizard at the top, and maybe the wizard has done some of these experiments on himself. And then you can cherry pick different abilities that each one of them has for a really fun boss fight. I think this would make a really fun encounter for probably like level 3 or 4 characters. And that way you could make that final boss, the final wizard, a little more powerful. Obviously not, you don't want to make him too powerful to kill them, unless that's what you want to do. But I think it would be fun. I think each one of the Simic hybrids can put a D&D party through various different tests, especially if you as a DM want to see how the party's going to hold up. Because each one of the hybrids' abilities are so unique, you can just throw them at the party and see how they deal with it. So let us know down in the comments below what you think about the Simic hybrid, if you think they're really cool, if you think they're lame. We want to know. If you'd like to help support our D&D habit, you can head down to the description and follow the link to our Buy Me a Coffee page. There you can donate to us, help us buy some snacks for whenever we have D&D. And if you want to see more D&D content from us, hit the subscribe button and ring the little bell so you always get our notifications. And until next time, keep the dice rolling.